Hello, good morning to you all. I hope you are doing well. And I hope you are equally loving SQL as you should be. You should be loving it. Okay. So yes, we are back to we are done with the introduction. Whatever we've done the intro that we are supposed to do on SQL. Yes. So today, what we are going to do is what we'll look at. We'll connect to we'll see how we'll be able to connect to that database that we created, that we loaded, our employees database. We'll see how we'll be able to connect to it in the notebook over here, right? So that's what we'll do. We'll connect to it from our notebook, load the data set here, load it into pandas, and then we'll have our data frames, then we'll be working with it. That's what we are going to do. So after that, then I think I've equally sent what the fire data set CSV file into the group. And then so after the connection, then we'll go to that one and then we'll do some data cleaning stuff with it. Right. So yes, let's go. So yes, we need I need to create a new notebook. Let me create a new notebook here. Database connections. Okay. So let me just name it. Let me name it. This is rename. So I say what? Data database and connection. Database connection. So yes, I will leave it this way. Okay. Database connections. Okay. So yes, what we'll be doing is everything as I said, you need to know what you want to do and you need to know a library, the library that you'll be using will be using. And the library that we'll be using is what? SQL Alchemy, right? SQL Alchemy. We'll be using that library. SQL Alchemy. Let me try. Let me search it here for you. So we go. We need to know SQL Alchemy, right? Hmm. So when we search it, we say what is from Wikipedia. We get to see what SQLAlchemy is a Python SQL toolkit and object relational mapper that gives applications developers the full power and flexibility of SQL. Right? What we are going to do is that this library will help us connect to the database, to our SQL database. You can connect to it with other that's why it is what you can connect to it you can connect to any other this one engine, whether it is Postgres, whether it is MySQL, whether it is any different one that you want, right? But since we learned what MySQL, we'll be connecting with what MySQL. So let me go back to my place, right? So yes, we need to. So yes, we'll have to, as I said, in any library, before you be able to use it, you have to install it, right? You have to install it. Okay, so let's install our library. Uh, we use what the library, the package installer, Python's package installer. That is what pip. We use pip to install it. So we just need to do pip install. It is SQL Alchemy, right? Then we have to install the connector too at the same time. It is all good. SQL connector. connector, then Python. This is the syntax. So if I run this, we should get the installation. Will not find it version that satisfy. Okay, I think let's leave the connector. Let's leave the connector and just install this. Okay, so yes, just go this way. Just SQLAlchemy will not. If the connector was successful, we would have tried using that one. We would have tried something on using the MySQL connector too. But since that one didn't work, it needs some other things done first. But by default, this is even what Pandas requires. Pandas prefers us to use the SQL Alchemy, right? SQL prefers us to use the Alchemy. So yeah, just you pip install this, pip install SQL Alchemy, and yes. Okay. Okay. So if you are done with the installing, then we'll have to start using it. So I just did what pip install what SQL Alchemy. The next thing is what to just import it, right? The next thing is to import whatever that we are using. Okay. So yes, we'll be needing what our regular library that we use for what data manipulations, which is what pandas, and now we have what SQL Alchemy, right? So for the SQL Alchemy, the most important one that we'll be using there is a model in it called what Create Engine. That's what will be important. So import what import pandas as pd. Then the next one from SQL Alchemy. Yeah, from SQL Alchemy, import what? Import, there are several create. Let me use tab to get what create engine. Create engine, create engine, create engine, create engine. Okay, so this is what we want. This is all that we will need. These are the imports that we will need to work. Okay. Okay. Someone is saying, Iman, will you save it? Yeah. This yes. To be saved. Yes. Okay. So let's go. I have done the importation. So the next thing is now for us to establish what the connections, and that is what we'll use. The create engine is what we'll use to do that connection, right? So normally the create engine takes this one, takes more of like a URL, something like a URL that it would use towards establish the connection, right? Right. So let's go. We first need to let's set up. Let's do some syntax. So we could say what the engine or URL engine or URL engine. Okay. So maybe engine. This will establish the connection between. We have to connect to the database itself, right? So we have to go. We've imported create engine. So let's go create engine. So when we open create engine, we take what more of like a string of the URL, and we start with this. It is this way. It's normally the database, the engine type that you are using, the engine type that you are using So engine type, and for instance, we are using my SQL. So my SQL plus my SQL, I think it goes with this. For my SQL, it goes with my SQL plus my SQL connector. Connect connector, right? Just like this. Then we go with your column forward forward slash forward slash. Then you need to give it what? Your username. You see that? Your username. And mostly since we have installed it, we have all installed MySQL on our machine over here. Mostly it is what? Root. Our username was what? Root. Then colon, then your password. The password that you use, you entered when you were logging into your workbench, your database. So for instance, let me enter my password. Then at localhost, it is on the localhost. Then I think what? Forward slash, then you give the name of the database that you are dealing with. You remember our database was what? Employees. So our database was employees. So if you want to connect to a different database too, then you just specify that this is the database that you want to connect with, right? Okay. So after this, if you first establish the connect, this is more of like a URL, right? So when you create the URL, it has been created. It has been created. So now to establish the connection, we have to connect. So we just have to, so maybe con or let me type it for maybe connection so that the name becomes, well, connection is equal to the engine that we've created, the variable that we've just declared right now, dot. If we do tab, we should see connect. You see that there's connect here. So when we say connect like this, then it will connect with the database, right? It will connect with the database, and then we'll be done. So now that we've established the connection, the work is done. It's now left with what? Just we just doing some few two other things, and then we'll be done, right? So now we've established the connection with the database. Now it is successful. The next thing is now how to write our SQL queries so that we'll get the data, we'll get what we want, right? We'll get what we want. So now we'll be using what? Pandas. One of the method in reading data was what? We saw what? Read CSV. Read, so PD, let me do this. PD dot read. Read. You see, there was read Excel, read CSV, and so on. You see, there's read what? SQL. See that? This is what we want. Read SQL. So if we want to do read SQL takes what? A query. The query that you want to, the query that is the SQL statement that you are writing, and then comma, then your words, your connection. So you let me do a question mark here so we see what it takes. So it takes what? The SQL. So the SQL is more of like the SQL statement, that the SQL query that we will be writing. Then the con is more of like the connection that we have established right now. You see that? So let's see here. The connection. This is the connection, and this is the SQL query. So those are the two things that we just need. So how many SQL? Let me go up here. Let me create a new cell here and say maybe our query, or our query is equal to, then I come, no, then I say what? Select all from, this was we writing SQL, right? Select all from a table name what? Employees. Is that not it? So when we do this, select all from this table name employees. That's all. So when I come here, you see the read SQL. I need to, oh, I didn't run this. Let me run this to save this variable. So when I come here, I just need to pass that SQL statement, which I've saved in a variable called what? Query, comma, and the connection, which I've also saved as a variable name what? Connection. So yes, when I do this, I should get an output, right? So if I do control then enter, it is running, it is executing. It executed the queries and it has gone straight to bring what? Whatever that is in the database. Was this not what we were doing yesterday in the workbench? So we connected, we were doing it in the workbench. We saw what? Employee number, birth date, first name, last name, gender, and hire date. You see that? So we've just been able to what? In this notebook, we've been able to what? Connect to that one. First of all, the URL, these are the just the few steps and you are done, right? So we did this. We just we didn't have what SQLAlchemy, so we imported SQL, we installed SQLAlchemy, then we imported it. We just needed what? The create engine. And with the create engine, the first part the first part is normally what? The engine type. So if we are using MySQL, so that MySQL comes here. This is the syntax for we using it here. So MySQL plus MySQL connector. Then the colon forward, more of like the URL type. Then your username, our username, my username is root, then my password, then at localhost, then I give what? The database that I want to connect with, the database that I want to work with, and mine is what? Employees. So when you create the URL, then you just do call the method dot connect on it. Then the connection has been created. If the connection has been created, then you can write your SQL queries, and that is what I've done. So let me save this one. I just did it into the air, so let me now save this one. Employees, right? So I can just save this one. So employees is equal to this. So you see that. So when I now come here, employees dot what? Head. This is it. So yes, I have this. So I have this saved, right? So the same way, all the joins, all the queries that yesterday we tried, if all of that is your query, just come and place them here and you will get an output, right? That is how it is. That one should just be your query, then you just execute it this way. Do we have any challenges with this one? Do we have any issues with the connection of the database? Connecting the database. Did we get any issue on that? So you remember we had what? Uh, we had what? I think we had another table, a salary table. We had a salary table in the database, and we have what? Employee database too. So it means let's just write one a join query that joins those two table, and then we'll import it. Right, right. So let me say what query two. Query two is equal to, okay. So let me go. So let me say, where are you? So let me say, we want to, what are we selecting? Select all, eh? Select all from where? Employees, employees, oh, employees, uh, employees as D. as E from A, employee as D. Let me go this way, employees. Then I say what? Employees as E. Then I come join it with what? Salaries. Is that not it? Salaries. Join it with salaries as S on what? Um E dot what? Employee EMP underscore NO, whereby that is equal to S dot what? EMP underscore NO. So this was something that mhm. So let me see. So let me see if this works. PD dot read underscore SQL. So we have what? Query 2. Query query 2 query 2 comma then where connection. Yeah. So let me see. Mhm. So we are executing this. It is taking some small time. Okay, so you see we get the output. It took some small time, but the same output that we would have gotten, we got over there. You see that it just took some small minutes, and we have what? You remember this was all this stuff were from what? To the higher date were from the employees, and the whole of all of this are from what? The salaries. So now we have employees and their salaries, their from dates, and you see. So as I said, the SQL that we wrote, we learned. You just have to put it in quotation marks. You make it what? You make it a query. Then you just do your pd dot read, and you get it right. So let me see. Daniel is saying what? Mine is giving me an error. No model name my SQL. Yes. I said leave that. Just do what? Pip install SQL. Right? Just this. Just do this. Don't do the SQL connector. Just do this. Look at my number 2, cell number 2. Pip install SQLAlchemy. Just do this and let's see. Daniel, confirm this. Do this and confirm this, and let me see if we can go. Did the SQL work? Restart. So just restart the notebook and let me see. Restart the notebook and let's see. Hmm. Let's restart the notebook and let me see. I'm waiting for you. we're having okay. Then mhm. Oh, do the pip install let's see. Maybe do let me see this one initially. Let me see this one. Yeah, let me come here, pip install, do this and then pip install my my SQL. I think this I did this and it didn't work. Connector hash Python. Let me see. Do this and let me see. Run this line. Try to do pip install my SQL connector. Let me see. This is for Daniel. Yes. Daniel. Mine is not working, but I think it is because I'm using Mac and I need to find a way to connect with my SQL. Please, is there a way to secure the password without leaving it exposing? Without leaving it. Yeah, Danny. Eh, Daniel, do this and you just do this and let's see. That was yeah. Dante. Dante is in. You're waiting. Daniel, try this one and let's see. If it doesn't work, then well, I'll find a way. We'll continue. Then I'll search around it. Yeah. So all of you. So let's hope that Daniel's own work. If Daniel's own work, then everybody will use this way. I think forgot to install it. Okay, so if it worked, Daniel has confirmed it worked. Right. Daniel has confirmed it worked. So the query worked. You have been able to load the database. Just try rerun those cells and let's see, confirm that for us, so that that would be more of like our FAQ, frequently more of like our frequently asked question. So that solves our problem for us. Run those cells. Daniel, okay. So what we'll need to do is to move. Let me move this cell up here. Let me move this cell above. So we know these are the two imports that we have to make. Move cell up. So you import what? You install SQLAlchemy and you install what? The connector. So with these two installation, it should work. Everyone's own will work from now. If Daniel's own worked, that is it. Okay. So yes, 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 yes. If that works, then that's all. We'll be done with what this one. So I just want to know. I just need to know. Because Juanita also do the same thing. I think yours is equally the same problem with Daniel. So just do this. Just do this installation too, and yours will also work, right? And if that works, you see, at the end of the day, you should be able to write your SQL queries more of like a string, and then you just pass them inside what the read SQL, and your work is done. So if that works, we move on to the next task. Are we there? Okay, so at the end of the day, let's just close the connection that we established some connection. Normally, it is good we close the connection, right? We just have to do what? Just close the connection. Dot what? I think there's close. Just do this, and now it means we are no longer, we've told the database that we are okay. We've gotten what we want. So yes, so yes, you see, we did what? We installed our libraries, those two libraries that we needed, SQLAlchemy and MySQL connector Python, those two. Then we then use that one to establish the connection with what the database. Then we were able to write our queries with direct. So we were querying the database directly from what Jupyter Notebook. Fantastic. So Daniel has confirmed for us. So that is it. It means it will work for everyone, right? Great. So that is it. We are done with this one. This notebook was just for us to do what? The database connection. How we're able to what? How we'll be able to connect from Jupyter Notebook. We'll be able to connect directly to the SQL or the servers, and so that is it. I think this was nice. This was nice. So we'll be moving on to the next. I think I wanted to create a new notebook, but let me just continue from here. Okay, so we are now coming to do some data cleaning stuff, right? I think we have some we'll be doing some few things. We have some few things that we'll be doing over here, right? So let's go. What we'll do is we'll be loading the data sets that I gave you, right? We'll be loading the data sets. So we'll be using pandas for some cleaning over here, right? So let me say markdown and pandas data cleaning. So let me say pandas what data data cleaning. I hope you all kept downloaded it. So we're doing what to do some renaming of columns, renaming of columns. We'll do rearranging rearranging of column order. Then what again? We'll be checking the data types of specific columns. We'll be yep. We'll be checking what would we do, removing text from a column, removing text from a column. What again? We'll be dealing with missing values, dealing with missing values, and we'll be changing data types, changing changing data types. Then what again? Replacing text within a column. Sorry, replacing text within a column. Then we'll check some string operations, some string operations. Uh, then removing columns, yeah, and dropping some rows. Lastly, dropping rows. Okay, so this is what we'll be doing. So all we need to do is what, load the data sets, right? So let's load our data set. We've already imported pandas already, so I could say what fire is equal to what pd dot read underscore csv, read underscore csv. Then I normally want to do this to see it first. So let me see, do I have I don't have fire here. Let me copy the file to this place first. I don't have it there. Come on, I need to get the file here first. I need to get the file over there first. I'm coming. So let me come in a few minutes. Yeah, copy. Where are you? You're supposed to be here. Okay. Control C. Then I come here. Control V. So now I've kept it there. I now have it there. I can come back. So yes, when I come here, there should be fire. There's now fire.csv over here. So I can load it. Let me go back here. So I can say what fire. Oh, question fire dot csv. So this is it. So when I do this, let me see file. Oh, it is fires. Okay, so when I load it this way, I'm seeing there's some unnamed column here. There's an issue with this one, so it means it just used the index as another column again. So we have to tell it that we can just tell it that index, use index. So whenever you face it, just set index column to be 0 and you see that that problem will be solved. So yes, this is the data set that we want to work with. So I just have to now save it. So fire is equal to this. So yes, load the data set this way, fire dot head. So yes, this is the beginning. This is where we are going. We are starting work from here. Are we together? Right. So we move on from here. Oh, sorry. So yes, whenever you have your data set, you want to know what you are dealing with, right? So dot info. So we have what when you do dot info, then we know we have what 6,454 entries starting from 0 to this. We have a total of 5 columns. Unknown. We have mes, we have what estadio, número, and then encuentro, right? This more of like in Spanish or something, right? It is Portuguese. So I know it's basically more of like year. Then the estadio, the met is month, the estadio is state. Then we have número, which is more of like number of fires, and then encuentro is dates, right? So yes, this is where the work comes. So we intentionally pick this so that we'll be able to work with it, so that we'll see whereby there there are in a situation whereby you meet some data set that you have to do some a little cleaning about it, you want to change some few things, you should be able to do it. That's what we'll be doing. We'll be walking through as I've listed, right? So yes. So first of all, we would like to what? Rename the columns. So we say we want to what? Rename. So there's what? Rename. We can just use what? Rename. We can just call our data frame. We can just call our data frame, which is what? Fire, right? Dot what? Rename. So when we use with this one, dot rename, inside here we can set columns, the columns that we want to set to be equal to the new this one columns that we want to set. But over here, the equal to here, it has to take a dictionary, right? It has to take a dictionary mapping the old one to the new one, old one to the new one. So a dictionary. That's why I said everything that we learned from the beginning, we'll be using them, right? So let me create the dictionary here. So let's say what this one, new column. New column, new column to be equal to what? A dictionary. So our curly brackets. So the old name is what? Unknown. Unknown. The key is what? The new one is what? Year. year. Then comma. We go. The second one, which is what? Mes. Met. Met is what? We say what? Month. Month. Then we go. The old another one, which is estadio. Estado. Then we say what? This is what? State. Again, we move on to the the fourth one, which is what? Numero, which is what? More of like number of fires. So that's why we are seeing 0 fires, 10 fires, and so on. So it is what? Number, number of fires. Okay, then the last one, which is what? Encontro. Encon, sorry, encontro. And that is what? Date. So that is it. So we've just done that. I think I need more space, so let me just do it this way. Let me break it down this way. Let me break it down this way, so it doesn't have to go that long. Okay, so when I've created this dictionary, all I need is to run it. So when I come here and I say what? The new columns is equal to new column. You let me run this. You see that when I run this, that has changed. That has changed. So you see, I now have year, month, state, number of fires, and date. Have you seen that? So it just means if you have a column name and maybe you want to restructure it, this is the way you do it. You just need to what? Create a dictionary, which is what? Mapping the old one to the new one, mapping the old one to the new one. You see that? That's all. So funny enough, if we come here and we say what? Fires, you see that it was not saved. Fire. You see that it is still having annual mate just because we didn't make this thing permanent. So it is either we say fire is equal to this, or inside here I just come here. So normally I just go inside here and say what? In place is equal to what? In place is equal to what? True. In place is equal to true, then it will be permanent. Have you seen that? Now when I run annual, it is no longer, it has now changed to this one. Are we together? Right. Are we together? Yeah. So we've just done this. Okay. So the next thing that we can, so with this, as for this, the unique and other stuff, you know them already. Oh, you can do something. You can pick. You already know how to pick what. So now that we have years, I mean, if for instance you want to know the different years of data, different years that data, different years in this particular column, what do? You just need to go fire dot what year dot unique. Is that not it? Dot unique. You see that? So if you go n unique, then you are getting the number. So you are getting 20 different uniques. That is there. But that is not what we are doing right now, right? So now, guess what? The next thing is rearranging what? The next thing is rearranging columns, right? It's rearranging columns. You should be able to rearrange what? Columns based on how you want it, right? The columns normally have what? Indexes. So that is what we are going to do, right? That is what we are going to do. Hmm. Let's say fire, fire dot columns. What does this do? This gives us the columns. So imagine the columns. We have how many columns? About five, five columns. So imagine, you see, we know the column indexes also start from 0 to 4. When we did df.info, we saw it. df.info, where are you? Where is df.info? Yeah, this was df.info. So each column has an index. So index number 0, index number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So imagine we come here. So when I come here and I say index 1, comma 2, comma 4, comma 0, then comma 3. Let me see what happens. Index This is the wait. Yeah, you let's just wait. I think it should have been this one. If I do a single one, if I do a single one, I get it. So it means when the index error means this one has to be 2. So let's say 2 comma 4. You should get it. You see that? If I add another one, I want the third one. You see that? I get that. So it means that we can do something. It means we can do something. Just to reset it, you can just determine first of all, we rank it. So for instance, we want the date to be first, we want the year to be second, the month to be third, the state and the number of fires should be last. This is always not something that is very particular, but you don't need to worry. Maybe the last one was what, date, and now maybe you want to bring it first. Then the second one is what, year. We want year to be at the same. Year was 0. Now we want year to be second. Now we want fire. Year. Have you seen that? Then 2 and then 3. Let me see this. So date, year, month, state, and number of fires. So this is it. We want it this way. This is how we want it to be. Is that not it? So you know what we do? If I want what, we created this one something already long time, that if I want fire, if I want what, to display only two only date and year, is this not what I said we do? I just bring what, you see, you remember this. I said this is what we already discussed this long time ago. If we wanted to display only 2 columns, you just have to bring your double square brackets and you keep them there. So what it means is that if we have this, this is more of like a list. This is more of like a list. So 1 square bracket, it means we can put that one inside here, because this is a list of, you see that? So it means we can just put this one here. We can just pick this and place this one here, and we have rearranged it just like that, right? So we have rearranged it. So we can then just say fire is now equal to this. So this is our new fire. So when we say fire, now this is the new order. The order is no longer the old one. It has changed. We've changed the order, right? So the rearrangement has been done by just with this small idea, right? Okay. So want to see something. This one is supposed to be number of fires. This one is supposed to be what? Number of fires. Number of fires. Obviously, it clicks in our mind that it's supposed to be what? Numbers. But we are seeing 0 fires and other stuff, right? So let's see. We can check. There's a way of checking if a particular column is what? Is numbers, or is object, or is something, right? So we can go inside here and say what, number underscore of fires. You see this, when we do this, we are getting the column alone. So let's say we do dot. There are so many methods that we can apply, but this is a string. It is a string. When we did for me to say this is a string column, let me just do df.a fire.info for you to see fire.info. If I do fire.info, you see, if it is an object, then it means it is what, a string column, right? Those objects are the string columns. So since this is a string column, there are various string. You see that this is objects. So if you want to apply any string method, you need to do str first. So if I say s.str dot, you see there are many string things that we can do, capitalize and so on. But the most important thing is what? Is num. So you see, you can check variously. You can check whether they are alphabets or they are numeric. So we can verify, we can see if this is numerics. Have you seen that? If this is numeric. So when we do this, so we are getting what? We have 6,000, but we are seeing some are false, some are true. Those that are false means those ones are not numbers. So it means this one has some that are not are numbers and some are not numbers. So for instance, when we get true, false, false, I've said that we can do sum to get what? The number. So it means what? We have what? 4,000 out of the 6,000. There are lots that are not what? Numbers. A lot, right? So yes, now we need to solve this problem. This is supposed to be a numeric column. This is supposed to be a numeric column, but here's the case, it is not numeric, right? So that's where the work comes. The work comes here. Work comes here. So the work that we are coming to do is what? Removing some text from here. So what is the text that is here that we want to remove? Let's see. Um, let's see. Let's see this. If I do this, you are seeing what? This number of fires, this 0 fires, 7 fires. It means there's what? Fires that they've added there that shouldn't have been there. Because if we say we want to convert, if we want to change this thing to float, you see that it will be like this. If you want to change this one to numbers, it is just like you trying to change, you trying to convert what? Float, you trying to cast F to float, you'll get an error, because it is not possible, because it have text in it. But if this is a number alone 2 and I want to convert it, I'll be able to change it. You see that? So if this is the problem, then it means if it's just like this, so it means we have ds here. You see that? So if this is the case, what if we take the ds off this thing? We want to look at a way in which we can take this ds, the text there, we can take the text out, leaving the number as a string, then now we'll convert it. You see that? So that is the problem we want to solve now. So it means our next task is what? To remove unnecessary text from a column. And that unnecessary text is what? So we can say what? Dot str dot what? Strip. We want to use what? There's this one called what? Strip. So you can strip some text from what? A column. So what are the texts that we want to strip? We have fires. So if I do fires, you will see this. So now we are seeing 0 0 0. We are no longer seeing what? 0 fires, this fires, this fires. So when we do this, then it means we'll be able to what? Then convert it to what? And a number, right? We will then be able to convert it to a number. Is that not it? Okay. But still, now that we've done this, so we can say what? We can say f at this should be the new column. The new column, we are just receiving it. So now when we say fire dot head, what do we see? We are no longer seeing the fires, but it is there. So let me do even what? 20 for us to see. So you see, it was so this would have been this fires, this fires, this 10 fires. Have you seen that? But now we've taken that away. All the fires away. But can we say this is now? Can we say this is now what? Can we say this is now? Let me say. Can we say it is now an integer? A float. Can we say it is now a float? Still, it is not a float, but we have to now what? Convert it. That was why I was doing the example above. So now that it has been converted, it means we can change it. We'll be able to change it and we will not have an error, right? So we can say this. We can still go. We can go. This is the same column, right? This is a column. Then let's say as what? As type. we just need this as type. Then what type are we changing it? We want to change it to float. So if I do this, let's see, if we run this now, it has been able to convert all the elements in it into float because there was no text in it. There was no text in it, so it is now able to change it. But first, there was what? Text in it, and it was not able to. If we had done this earlier on, we would have hit an error. So now we could have done it on the same line, but let's just make it. Let me just. Oh, we could have done it on the same line. Sorry. So I can just say is equal to this. So now, if I rerun this cell, if I rerun the df.info, you will see that number of fires has finally changed to what? Float. It is no longer what? Object. See that? So what did we do? We took a column that had what? Text in it. We took the text out by using what? Strip. And since they are string columns, they are object columns. So in order to work with the string values, you always have to do what? .str before you will be able to get access to what? The string methods to use, right? And now we brought it and we were able to strip the fires out of it, and then after that we were able to what? Change it. You see that? We could have done it, as I'm saying, we could have just done it this way, straightforward, then as type, just on top of it here, then say float. You see that? So it is, we can do all, we can chain all at the same time, but for us to understand it, that's why I did it step by step, right? Okay, so yes, we've done this. Now we've done one. The next thing is what? To check. Another thing, this one is supposed to be date, right? We are seeing dates here, but date. There will be a time whereby if the thing maybe you want to take what? The week, you want to take the month, you want to take the year, you want to take day of the week. You want to work with what? Date stuff. And if it is in objects, it is seen as a string column. You will not be able to do it. You will not get those functionality. So the best thing is always what? If there's a date column, make sure it is the data type is also what? Date time. And how do we do that? There's a pandas method that allows us. Pandas has a way for us to change this one into what? A date time, right? So what we will do is, sorry. So we come here and we say, if we want to change the date to what? Date time. There's pd pandas. As I said, pandas has this one. So pd dot what? To date time, to underscore date time. You see that? Then you to date time, then you just pass the column that you want to change, right? You just pass the column that you want to change. So fire at what? Date. So if we do this, you see that this will change. So when we do this is in the air. So I have to say set fire at what? Date to be equal to this. You see that? So if I do this and now I come here and do my fire, let me run the fire.info once again. You see that now it will change. So if I do fire.info, you see that the date too has changed now. So for instance, as I said, so now if there's a situation whereby you needed, we know our data set, there's month in it already, but in a situation whereby there was no month and you needed it, you just need to do what? .dt dot what? Month. Since it is in date time, you will get it. You get your month. Have you seen that? If you wanted what? Year, you just do .year and you get the year out of the date time. The date time. That's the reason, the most important thing why this thing, all your date columns, the data type has to be date time, because these are the things that you'll be able to do, right? Day of week, day of week, day of week, let me see. So when you do day of week, you get Monday. So from zero, so zero is more of like, it starts from zero. So zero for Monday, one for Tuesday, up to six for this one. So it's the day of the week. These are the things that you'll be able to do. So normally, if you want the day of the week and you do this, then you try to convert. You do a mapping. We will do mapping too, so that you map 0 to what Monday, 1 to what Tuesday, 3 2 to what Wednesday, 3 to Thursday, and so that, and so on and so on. These are all ways of us cleaning what our data set, making it what usable, right? Am I going too fast? Are we okay with whatever that is happening? Are we? Are we together? Okay. Okay, so the next thing that I would like to do is what we just done changing the data type. The next thing, let's look at how to what deal with what missing, handle missing data over here, right? Handle missing data over here. So let's see, we've done a whole lot of changes for now. Yes, we've done a lot of changes. So the next thing is what to check if what we have what missing data in our data set. Okay, so let's see something. Let's see. Um, fires. Fire dot what is na is na. We have is na and is now, right? So when we do this, we get what true 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 false false. So we just need to do what dot sum. So we have to check for missing data, right? Uh, handling missing data. Okay, so yes, 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 yes. After running this, we see that what date there's no what missing data, year there's no missing data, month there's no missing data, state 0, except what number of fires in which what there's what there are 132 info missing, right? So now let's look at that ways to deal with this, right? So it means let's look at how we'll deal with that. So the first one, we'll look at the first situation, the first scenario in which what? So when you have missing data, there are various ways that you'll be able to deal with missing data, right? And this one, dealing with missing data, comes with what? It comes out. It is what experience. How and your experience will let you know the best method to use, right? But for now, we are to learn what we are about to learn what all the various ways, right? Mhm. So we'll look at the first method. want to work with what? So let me see something. I want to have different. I want to have what? I want to do something. Let me say, if I start handling the missing value, missing data, the table. So let me do this. One to be equal to what? To be equal to fire. So that we'll use the fire one for the dropping. We'll use another one to for the filling in stuff. So yes, let me use the fire one. So fire one dot is NA, the same thing. We should get what? Dot sum, the same thing. Okay. So now, as I'm saying, the first method is what? Normally, when you have missing data and you feel that what the quantity, the number of missing data is insignificant, it's less, right? It's less than, let's say, 5% of the data set or so. Now, or I mean, if it is data set that you can do away with, right? Then you can drop them. So how do we drop those missing data? We just say what? Fire dot what? Drop na drop na, just this. If you say drop na, it should be done. It will be done for us, right? It will be drop na, and this drops the na, but normally this is not done completely. So normally you have to do what? In place is equal to true, so that it becomes what? True. So now if I try to run this, if I try to run this again, if I try to check, you see that no longer fires no longer have what? Have you seen that? Fires no longer have the number of fires, the 132 missing data again, right? So that is one way. That is one way of dealing with it. So if you go df.info, oh, fire one dot what info. So this is it. You see that at first it was 6454, but now it is now 6332 because we've lost a whole lot, right? That is it. So we've dealt with the missing data with what? The first one was what? With what? Dropping. So we've dropped. There's no longer missing data here because we did what? We dropped them. Is that not it? So let's see something. Let me go. Fires fire one dot head. Let's see something. It seems there's dot. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, okay. So that works. That works for us. That works for us. Want us to see something. Okay, so let me do till and see. Okay, okay. Okay, so yes, we did that. So it's okay. We've dropped what? The missing data. So we need to move on to the next step. Right. The next step we like to no longer drop again. As I said, it comes with what? Experience and other stuff. The next one that we'll be doing is what? The first one is what? So let me go here. Let me go here. Dealing with missing data. Dealing with missing data. The first one was what? The first one was drop, drop, dropping. That's what? Dropping, removing them. Removing missing data. missing data. Then we can go with what? The next one is what? Filling them with what? Replace them. Replace them with any number. So the replacing is where there's more. Replacing them. Right. So yes, let's go. We did the first one. So let's go with the second one, whereby our arbitrary, we just need to find know a number that we want to fill it with, right? We want to fill it with another. So yes, this let's go. So as I said, fire two, I fire fire two is equal to what? Fire. So this is for fire two is what we'll use for the filling with what. So now we have what so normally you want to know what so let's say something fire 2 fire 2 dot describe fire 2 dot describe. So when you do fire 2 dot describe, see this is the number of fires. So let's see, we want to know the mean. We want to know the mean, right? So with filling in, you can normally replace the missing data with either the mean with that's what an arbitrary number. So it comes with what, as I said, with experience. So you know, oh okay, number of fires. So maybe you can say what if somebody did not what input number of fires, and it means maybe the person maybe those areas there were no fire outbreaks at those areas. So wherever there's missing data, let's put what 0 there. So yes, you can go with 0. You can add, you can also go and say, oh okay, so you let's replace with the 0 first. So we assume that wherever we see missing data, we'll rather replace it with what? 0, which is the minimum, right? So we can go. So in doing that, all we just need to do is what? Know that particular column that we want to do the replacing with. So fire 2, fire 2 at number of fires, number of underscore fires, right? So this is it. So we can say what? Dot, this is it. The next thing is what? Fill NA. Fill NA is what? Fill NA. So when we want to fill NA, it's most like you're filling missing value. What are you filling it with? We can say we are filling it with what? Any number, but for our situation, we are picking what? 0. So if we do this, it will be done, but we want to save it. So we say in place is equal to what? In place is equal to what? True. So now when I do this and I come back and say, df dot inf dot is na is na sorry is na, then I come dot sum. I should get what? 0, because I filled it with what? 0. I filled the missing data with what? 0. I no longer have what? Missing data there, right? Because the missing data, I filled it with what? 0, right? We could equally fill it with what? The mean, in which you know the number. So if the mean was 110, is here, you just replace it with that one, the 0.111110, and you are replacing it with the mean. If you wanted to, if you know, oh okay, there are these particular people, if those that didn't give us those number, I want to replace all those numbers with what? 555, number of fives. It's just what? Just know what you want, how you want to replace it, then you go with it, right? Okay, so another one. Now we are moving on to the next one. The with the fill, right? Let's look at there are these next two things that we want to work with. We want to work with. So let me work with the last data set. Let me do fire. So I'll use what? Fire. Let me just use the last one. Fire 3 to be equal to fire fire 3, so that I'll use fire 3 for the fire 3. So dot, that's what missing, fire 3 dot, let me see something coming. I want to see those that uh they are missing data here. I want to see those that there's missing data. So let me see. Okay, fire 3, fire 3 dot at what number of fires, then I say what is any. This will give us true false false. So if I put this one into fire 3, if I put this one into fire 3, then it means I want those missing data. I want those with missing data. Okay, what happened? Fire 3, no missing. Fire number, what happened? What happened? So it doesn't mean fire H. Let me see. Sorry. Let me see. Fire dot is na dot sum. Oh, that's why I think then it means I have to reload. Let me go and reload the data set at the top. Let me go. It means I've solved the I have to rerun the cell that is loading the data set. Oh, so I come here, I run this cell, I run this cell, that's also okay. So I have rearranged. Okay, so yes, this cell also. Okay, so that is it. I'm okay from here. Let me go down. So when I come here and say fire 3 is equal to this and I do this, yeah. So yes, I get what? Those that have what are missing. So I see at number 68, 68, there's missing data there. At number 68, right? At 68, there's missing data. So obviously that means what? 67, there's no. Okay. So yes, 68, there's missing data at 68. So for instance, if we do what? Fire fire 3 dot iloc, iloc, then I say what? 68, 68. I get this iloc. So I get the number, I get the date, I get the year, I get the month, I get the state, I get NAN, missing data, right? So what if I do for 67? Let's see 67, 67, 67. So 67, there's a number there. If you go 69 too, there's a number there because those ones are not missing. So you see that. So 69 is 0, 67 is what? 1. So yes, we are now coming to do something. Forward fill and what? Back fill. one thing. We've done what? Filling with arbitrary number, and any number, filling it with any number. That's what we just did by filling in with zero. And I said you can fill in with what? The mean. You can fill in with the median, and so on, right? But now we want to use a strategy, right? Another strategy. So we want to say if hmm, so for let's do distance. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. So B. Let's say fire. Fires at what? Number of fires. Sorry. Number of fires. Then I say what? Dot fill NA. Dot fill NA. Fill NA. Over here, there's this argument that we have to pass. Method, right? We have to pass method. The method that we are using we have to state it, right? So we've called our column, right? Then we say dot fill NA. Now method is now important because the method we have what? Backfill. There's what? Forward fill. Backfill and forward fill. Let's just do that. You saw this one, right? We saw this. So as I said, let me copy the whole of this thing. So you see, copy, then we go 60, 67. 68 is a missing data, and 67 is 1. 69 is 0. So you see what backfill will do. You know 68 was what? 68, 68 was a missing data, right? 68. 68 was a missing data. We checked and we see that 68 there's no data there. It is NaN. So let's choose what? One of the fill method, which is what? For forward fill. Forward fill. Let's try forward fill first. So if I do forward fill, name fires, no, I name fire 3. Fire3.fill.na. So when I do this, and let me pick what? Dot ilog, and pick only what? 68 now. You see what? It picked 1 because it has done what? Forward fill, was what was behind, what it saw first before coming, which was what? The previous one, 67. So forward fill will just look at before what the previous non the previous which one? Oh, the previous one that was not NaN, right? Then it picks that one. If it is backfill, it would have picked 0, the one in front of it, the next non-missing value that is in front of it, which is what? 0. So forward fill just picked the one that was before it. Forward backfill will pick what is ahead of it, right? So you've seen that this is forward fill. So imagine I do this, you just need to get this. So if I come here and put this one down, and this time around not back and not forward, and I say backfill, it should be what? 0, because backfill has picked what is ahead. 67 was a missing data. 68 was a missing. What is ahead of it, which was index number 69, was 0. But when we do backfill, it will pick what is ahead to fill. So anytime it sees a missing data, it will just pick what was ahead of it. Then they are sure. So just pick what was ahead of it, and it will keep it there, right? Okay. So that is it. That is it for the missing data. I hope you had it. I hope you had it. I hope you are getting it. You get it? I hope so. Right. So the next thing. Okay, so Ransford is asking, how do you know how when to pick forward throw and back throw? I think I did some cleaning. I was doing some cleaning, and this one, there was this one. I think there was one column that had what? This one, the name of supervisors. I think it was a hospital. The name of a hospital, and the rest more of like I was doing some cleaning. More of like you see um let me say, so imagine I see, oh, we'll get an example that will best we'll get an I should get an example that you will know. As I said, it comes with experience, and you just have to, when you see, as I said, let me try to phrase this example once more. um there's this column in which, let me say, on line one there's Theophilus, and all the subsequent lines up to line 10, Theophilus is supposed to be there, but they didn't input it because if for instance, yeah, if for instance that's the situation, imagine you have this column in which it has several of us, our names. So me, my name, and Ransford, your name, and Dante's name. But each of us, in between our names, there's always space. So after Theo, there's space. Missing data, plenty there. Then there's Ransford. Then after Ransford, there are so many missing data. Then Dante. After Dante, there's so missing data. But the scenario is that maybe they were doing something and they forgot that, oh, they know that after Theophilus is supposed to be there, Theophilus starts from the subsequently is supposed to be Theo until it gets to Dante. Then we have Dante's work, Dante. Then we have Ransford. So immediately you see that, then this one can help you forward fill, so that immediately it sees it sees still, and it moves to the next one, and it is what? Missing. It just keeps still there. It sees another missing, it keeps still there until it sees Ransford, then it cuts. So after Ransford, the next missing data, it will see, oh no, then it goes back to pick what? The previous one, which was non empty, which is Ransford. It keeps it there. I hope this, if this helps you, then otherwise we'll wait till we'll get a better example to solve this, right? We'll wait till we get a better example to solve this, right? Mhm. So yes, the next thing that we would like to do is what? We would like to work on you being able to what? Change stuff in a column, right? Just like we have what? See, to replace text in a column. That is the next thing that I want us to do, right? So let's say we have our month column, right? Fire dot head. Then you see what we have month, and for instance we've seen Janeiro, February. So let me just say this, let me just do it this way, let me just do it let me just do it with fire dot month dot what unique. So you see January, February, Marco, then it means January, February, March, April, May, June. So if you have something like this, and maybe we want to change it, you want to change it from, you just need to create what? A dictionary that is mapping them. So dictionary mapping January this to this, right? So that was what I was saying even in the first one, that imagine we, after changing it to the date time, if you want to what? Get the days, and the days was in what, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you want to change them to what, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You just need to what, create your dictionary first, right? We'll be using a method named map. But first of all, you need to create what, a dictionary, right? You need to create what, a dictionary. So let's say month, month. Then we say it is called what, we create a dictionary. Then we say what, I don't want to type plenty. Let me just see if I can copy all of these guys and bring them here. Let me just copy them line by line here. Okay, I've copied them. I don't want to work so much. So a dictionary, I have the keys already, so I just have to input the values. So I know this is what, January. So I just want to put Jan, then key value. Then I say what, February, Feb. Then I go, uh, then I go, March. Then I go, April, APR. You see that? So let me bring this one down. Key value. I go here, and I say this is what, May. Then I go, this is what, June. Then I say JUL, right? I come here, Augusto, and I say this is what, AUG. Then I come here, this is what, SCP. Then go here, this is what, OCT. Then this is what, NOV. Then this one, this is what, DEC. So something like this. So January for June, February, Feb. So I've just created a mapping. So if I do this, I've created this dictionary, right? So now the only thing that you have to do is call the column, fire at what, month. You see, this one gives you the Janeiro and so on, right, to December. So what you have to do is to say dot map, map. Then inside the dot map, you put what, the dictionary, the name of the dictionary that you created. So which is what, month. So when I do this and I run, you will see something. So you see that it has mapped wherever you saw Janeiro, it kept what, Jan over there. Have you seen that? So that is it. So I can just say fire at month, fire at month. I just say this is equal to this new thing. So now when I try to run this month dot unique again, you now see that I have what, January, Jan, Feb, March, April, May. So in order to do that, all you just needed was create a dictionary, mapping the old one to the new one that you want to do. So with this data set, you can equally do that with the state. You can just change any of the states to any names that you want. That is something that you can just try whilst you are working right now, right? Right, are we together? Okay, so we can look at the next thing that we want to do is what, removing columns, right? What we want to do is what, to be able to what, drop some columns that are there that we don't want, right? Okay, so I just want to create some unnecessary columns here first, then fire.info. I want to see something. I want to do, okay, so let me create some unwanted columns that I will drop them again. So let me say the uh, fire at what, day is equal to, is equal to fire at what, date, then I pick what, I pick the day of the week, dt dot day of week. So now when I do this, Then I pick what? Let me do another one too. Let me do another one too. It's okay. Okay, so now let me see. Fire at what? Oh, fire dot head. So you see, I have the days too. I have the days too. So I now I want to what? Drop some dates. I want to drop some columns. So how are you able to drop columns? So if I want to drop a column, all I want to do is what? I just call what? The data frame name, which is what? Fire. Then I say fire dot what? Just drop. Just drop. You see that? Fire dot drop. Fire dot drop. All I need to do is what? Pass in the name of the column, which is what? So for instance, date. But if I try to drop this, I'll get error because it is telling me key error. Key error because it is trying to find a row name what? Date, but it is not saying it. So we have to tell it that it is not what? A row. It is what? A column. So we have to set what? By default, this the axis is always it is always referring to rows. So we have to say axis is equal to what? 1, so that it knows we are dealing with what? The column. So now when I do this, you see that it has taken the dates out in this output. So yes, I have taken it out. So yeah, it is also something that you have to watch out, right? So yes, this was we dropping a single column, right? What if you wanted to drop several? You see that I didn't save it. So because I didn't save it, it is there. So normally anything, if you want to save it, you just have to put what? In place is equal to true, right? If I do in place is equal to true, it will be saved, right? It will not be in the air. So yes, if I now want to drop multiple columns, so you just pass in a list of those things, a list of those columns that you want to drop. So let's say for instance, I want to drop what? The year, and I want to drop what? The day. The day too. Day. Then even I can add another one. Oh, I can add another one, maybe state. You see that? So I have this and I say what? Let me say in place is equal. Hey, I have to set what? Tell it the axis first. Axis is equal to what? 1, and then in place is equal to what? True. So when I do this, now it has been done and it has. So now when I call fire, you will see that it is no longer, it doesn't have year, it doesn't have day, it doesn't have state. All those ones are gone. Have you seen that? So that is a way. If you want to drop rows, you want to delete rows, you can delete rows by this. Are we together? Okay, so the last one is what? Deleting what? um we can delete by indexes. We delete by indexes, right? So if your indexes, you want to delete any row, you just have to set what? The index that you want to delete them by, right? Okay, so the last thing, let's just do that. Deleting rows. So as I said, now we have what? So fire, let me say I'm using this one. This is my fire, and I feel that I want to delete some rows of data from this. You have to always, now if your index column are text column, then you have to use the names. But if they are numerical column just as this, then use, see fire dot index. See this one. If I say fire dot index, what do I get? I get the index of all the index. You see that the index has been listed, right? So if I want a particular index, I can say I want 4. At index 4, I have this. So at index 4 is just this. So I can say, now I can specify that this is what I want to what? In delete, right? So if imagine I say what? Fire dot what? Drop, and I say 4. I'm dropping 4, eh? Let me say I'm dropping 4. It means I've dropped index number 4. So you see that 4 is no longer there. After 1, 2, 3, it just jumped to what? 5, because I've deleted what? The index number 4. You see that that one is very easy. You don't even need to bring what? The axis is equal to, because by default drop works with what? Rules, right? So that is it. So imagine you have what? Several, right? Several. So you can say what? I want to drop from, let me say, I think a list. Let me say, if I want to pass a list, I think we have to pass 2 to 5. 2, 2. This takes off rather 2 and 5. This takes off 2 and 5, right? So I think for a range you have to use what? The column. This one is dropping 2 and 5. So you see number 2 is no longer there, number 3, 5, 2 is no longer there. So if you want a range, if you want to drop a range of numbers, just say fire dot what? Drop. Then inside the drop you just pass what? A range. So let's say I want to take 2 from 2 to what? 6. I'm deleting from 2 to 6. Invalid, invalid syntax. Oh, why? What happened? Let me see. Um, let me see fire dot index and see. Let me use the index and see whether this will work. Okay, so I think the same work, but it worked this way. So from 0 to from 2 to, and the last index is not part, right? So yes, we've been able to do the deletion of the rows, deletion of columns up to now, right? See how to delete them based on the number of rows. Yep, yep, yep. So yes, that is it. 2 is deleted. Yes, the beginning is always deleted, but the end is not. When we are dealing with ranges, that's always how it is. It's the beginning is always included, but the end is always not included when you are dealing with ranges. Okay. Any questions so far? So yes, this is what we wanted to do today, and yeah, we've executed that. Tomorrow we'll continue with some data feature engineering stuff, how to engineer some columns, to work on some columns, changing them, doing some modifications and other stuff. So more of feature engineering tomorrow, and even joining several data frames together. So we'll try to do that tomorrow, right? Okay. If you have any questions, just ask me before we close. Okay. Otherwise, we'll make it tomorrow. We'll meet tomorrow and we'll continue. Please practice whatever that we are doing. It is good for us. The more you do it, the more you'll get used to it, right? That's the way the programming language is. You invest more time into it by practicing, then you'll be okay with it. You become used to it. It will become what? At the beginning, I said what? We are building our Python muscles. Yeah, your muscles will be stronger, right? I think there's no question. Nobody has a question. So we'll just end. See you all tomorrow. Have a nice day at your various places, your various schools, your various workplaces. Have a very nice day. Thank, thank you.